The sun was scorching in the desert of Midian. 40 years ago I was a fugitive. I had killed a man and fled like a coward. Now I was just an old shepherd, forgotten by God and men. Or at least that's what I thought. The sheep were restless that morning. Something in the air was different. There was a strange tension, as if the desert itself was holding its breath. I knew those lands like the palm of my hand, but something was different. Suddenly, out of nowhere, an explosion of light caught my attention. An ordinary bush had transformed into a living torch. Orange flames danced through the branches, but wait, the branches weren't burning. It was impossible. My heart raced. In 40 years in the desert, I had never seen anything like it. It was as if the fire had a life of its own, pulsing, breathing. I left the sheep and approached, hypnotized. Each step made the fire shine more intense, more supernatural. Then it happened. A voice cut through the silence like a sword of fire. The sound came from within the flames. I fell to my knees, trembling like a leaf. The voice called me by name. How did that fire know who I was? Here I am, I shouted with a choked voice. And then came the shock that changed everything. Take off your sandals. The ground you stand on is sacred. My hands were trembling. The God of the impossible was there, speaking to me from within the fire. I have seen the suffering of my people. The voice echoed throughout the entire desert. I heard their cries of pain in Egypt, and you will free them. Me, a failed assassin of 80 years. Impossible, I shouted. But that voice didn't accept excuses. To prove his power, he made my staff transform into a giant. Snake, I ran terrified. Then it turned back into a staff. My hand turned white as snow, then back to normal. Impossible signs happening before my eyes, defying all logic. Even seeing miracles, I still resisted. Lord, I stutter, I don't speak well, but divine patience was at its limit. Who made man's mouth? Go, I will be with your mouth. The fire pulsed stronger, the decision was made. At that moment, everything became clear. I was no longer just an ordinary shepherd. The Almighty God had chosen a failure for the greatest mission in history, to free 2 million slaves from the most powerful empire on earth. I returned home in total shock. My peaceful life was over. Pharaoh would be my opponent. The impossible would be my routine. And it all started with a bush that caught fire but didn't burn. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Moses' people. That fire changed history. It wasn't a polite conversation. It was a supernatural encounter that shook my existence. God didn't ask my opinion. He gave an impossible mission. And you know what I discovered? When God speaks, the impossible becomes inevitable. Today, you might be feeling ordinary, forgotten, incapable. But God looks for people like that. He takes failures and makes heroes. He takes cowards and makes liberators. What he needs isn't your perfection. It's your availability for the impossible. What is your burning bush? What impossible situation has God placed in front of you? Stop looking at your limitations and look at the unlimited God. He didn't call you to the possible, he called you to the miraculous. Certainly, I will be with you. Exodus 3:12. If this video ignited your heart, subscribe. Leave your name in the